In the previous module,
看，
we
这
created
些
our
彩
Git
色的积
identity
木就
and our
像一
local
个个小代码
repository.
文件，让我们把它们组合起来，就能创造出有趣的东西啦。
Our Git identity tells Git who we are, and the remote connection tells Git where our repository is.
Terminal and Git commands tutorial. First, pwd means print working directory. It tells you where you are on your computer. For example, if you are inside the My First Project folder, pwd shows its location. Command : pwd meaning where am I. Next, ls means list. It shows files and folders in the current location. Use it to see what is inside the My First Project folder. Command : ls meaning what's here. Next is cd, which means change directory. It moves you from one folder to another. For example, cd My First Project changes to that folder. Command : cd My First Project meaning move into a folder. Sometimes the terminal fills with old commands and messages. The clear command wipes the screen clean, keeping your files safe. Command : clear meaning clean the screen. Git status shows what is happening inside your Git repository. It lists changes, untracked files, and commits ready to make. Command : Git status meaning what is Git seeing. Git init starts Git in your folder by creating a hidden .git folder that tracks your project history. Command : Git init meaning start Git here. Git branch shows branches in your repository. An asterisk before a branch star master means you are working on it. Command : Git branch meaning show my branches. Git log shows your commit history, helping review your past project work. Command : Git log meaning show my history. Terminal and Git command summary. pwd tells where you are, ls shows what is here, cd moves folders, clear clean screen, Git status shows Git changes, Git init starts Git, Git branch shows branches, Git log shows history. Ready to start building. Now that you know these commands, you are ready to work with the terminal and manage your Git repository. Let us create our first project together. Start now.
Let's start by making sure we're inside our project folder. If you're already inside My First Project, you can continue. If not, you can use the command ls to list the files and folders in our current location. Run ls. Then press enter. Git bash will display the files and folders available in our current location. Now we need to locate the project we're working on. Our project folder is called My First Project. This is where the cd command comes in. cd means change directory, so to move into our project folder, we'll run cd My First Project. Then press enter. Now Git bash has moved us inside the My First Project folder. Let's confirm our current location. Run pwd, then press enter. This shows the exact folder we're currently working inside. We should see a path similar to C was your name My First Project. Now let's check what's inside this folder. Run ls again, then press enter. Because this is a new project folder, it may be empty at this point. That's completely fine. We're now in the correct project folder and ready to start creating our project files. So remember, ls helps us see files and folders, cd helps us move into a folder, and pwd tells us where we currently are. Now that we're inside our My First Project folder, we're ready to start working with Git. Inside our My First Project folder, it's time to turn this normal folder into a Git repository. To do that, we'll run the command git init, then press enter. Git will initialize an empty repository inside our project folder. This means Git is now watching this folder and is ready to start tracking our project. Now let's check the status of our repository. Run git status, then press enter. Git tells us that we're on our branch and we haven't made any commits yet. That's because we haven't created any project files yet. So let's create our first project file. We'll create a simple HTML file called index.html, run echo hello GitHub, index.html, then press enter. We've now created our first project file. Now we've created our index.html file. Let's use git status again to see what Git detects. Run git status, then press enter. Git shows our index.html file as an untracked file. Remember, untracked means the file exists inside our project folder, but Git hasn't been told to include it in our next commit yet. So now we need to move the file into Git's staging area. Before we do that, let's understand what staging means. The staging area is like a preparation area. It allows us to choose which changes we want to include in our next commit. So when we stage a file, we're telling Git, I want this change to be included in my next commit. Now let's stage our index.html file run, git add index.html, then press enter. If you're using Windows, you may see a warning saying, LF will be replaced by CRLF. Don't worry. This is a line-ending warning related to how Windows and Git handle the characters that mark the end of a line. It does not mean that the command failed. Our file has still been successfully staged. Now let's check the status again. Run git status, then press enter. This time, the output is different. Instead of seeing index.html under untracked files, Git should now show it under changes to be committed, and you'll see new file index.html. This means our file is now staged and ready for our first commit. Notice something else. Git may still tell us, no commits yet. That's completely normal. We've staged our first file, but we haven't created a commit yet. Now that our index.html file is staged, we're ready to create our first commit. A commit is a saved snapshot of the changes we've prepared. It gives us a point in our project's history that we can return to later. To create our first commit, run git commit initial commit, then press enter. Git will process the staged file and create our first commit. You should see outputs similar to this: master root commit E915F5 initial commit. The commit ID will be different on your computer, so don't worry if your number doesn't match mine. Git will then show something similar to one file changed, one insertion plus, and create mode 10644 index.html. This tells us that Git created a commit containing one file. Our index.html file was added to the project history, and one line of content was inserted. Congratulations. We've just created our first Git commit. Now let's check the status of our repository. Run git status, then press enter. Git should show something similar to on branch master and nothing to commit working tree clean. This is good news. It means there are no changes waiting to be committed. Our working directory matches the version that we just committed. Now let's look at the history of our project. Run git log, then press enter. Git will display information about our commit. You should see something similar to commit E915F5 FE777 BFA 1384 C9 C961 A0 FDAT 0 B5 BFE5C. Your commit ID will be different. You'll also see the branch reference, such as headmaster next. Git shows the author information, for example, author VictorTech yar emailed at example.com. This is the Git identity we configured earlier. You'll also see the date and time when the commit was created, for example. Date, Thu Aug 6, 1636, 02/2026, 90600. The exact date, time, and time zone on your computer may be different. Finally, you'll see the commit message, initial commit. So Git log allows us to look back at the history of our project and see who created a commit, when it was created, and what the commit was called. At this point, we've created our first file, staged it, committed it, checked our status, and viewed our first commit in the Git history. Now that we've created our first commit, let's prepare our local repository to connect with GitHub. Our current branch is called master. To change the branch name to main, run git branch main, then press enter. This changes our current branch from master to main. Now let's make sure our local Git repository is connected to the GitHub repository we created in the previous video. To add the GitHub repository as our remote run, git remote add origin. Then paste the GitHub repository URL we created in the previous module. Your command should look similar to git remote add origin https://github.com is your username, your fma first project git. Then press enter. The word origin is simply the name we're giving to our GitHub remote repository. Now let's check our branch. Run git branch, then press enter. You should see main. The asterisk shows that we're currently working on the main branch. Now let's check that our GitHub repository has been added correctly. Run git remote v, then press enter. You should see your GitHub repository URL listed twice, once for fetch and once for push. For example, origin https://github.com/your username your fma first project git fetch, and origin https://github.com your username your fma first project git push. This confirms that our local Git repository knows where our GitHub repository is located. Now we're ready to send our local project to GitHub. We'll use the git push command, run git push u origin main, then press enter. Git will try to send our local commit to the GitHub repository. If everything is configured correctly, the push will be successful. However, you may sometimes see an error like this. Permission to the repository denied to CM on Victor, followed by fatal, unable to access the GitHub repository. The requested URL returned error 403. If you see this error, don't panic. A 403 error means GitHub has rejected the authentication or permission being used for the push. This error does not happen to everyone, so if your push works successfully, you can simply continue. If you do get the error, we'll clear the stored GitHub credentials and authenticate again. Run this command, echo protocols https host github.com's git credential manager erase. Then press enter. This removes the stored GitHub authentication information from Git Credential Manager. Now let's run the push command again. Type git push equals u origin main, then press enter. Oops, we got an error. Don't worry, this time, the problem is simply a small typing mistake. We used an equals sign equals instead of a hyphen. Git is expecting u, not u. It's an easy mistake to make, so let's correct it. Now run the command correctly. Git push u origin main, then press enter. After running the push command, Git may ask us to authenticate with GitHub. You may see two options: sign in with your browser or sign in with a code. For this example, we'll choose sign in with your browser. Click sign in with your browser. Git will open your default browser and redirect you to GitHub to complete the authentication. Sign in to the correct GitHub account if you're asked to do so. You may then see a confirmation asking you to approve Git Credential Manager. If you see this message, click approve or authorize to allow Git Credential Manager to complete the authentication. If GitHub asks you to enter a verification code, enter the code provided through your GitHub authentication method. Once you verify the code, you should see a message confirming that authentication was successful. Now go back to your Git terminal. Git should continue the process and confirm that the authentication was successful. You should then see a message showing that the main branch was pushed to the GitHub repository. You may also see new branch main and branch main set up to track origin main. This means our local main branch is now connected to the main branch on GitHub. Our project has successfully been pushed to GitHub. Git and GitHub are now working together.
Congratulations, your Git and GitHub Foundation is ready. Next up, branch, collaborate, build, readme, host. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss the next part. See you in the second half of the course.